Hello my dear viewers, I would like to thank you for watching the video and I wanted to say subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be very grateful and you will not miss new videos. Enjoy the video. My name is Megan Harris, I'm 25 and I live in a small town in Pennsylvania, the kind of place where the highlight of the week is the Friday farmers market. Nothing exciting ever happens here, and I was fine with that. Until last month when everything changed. It was a Thursday morning, and I was heading out the door for work when I saw the package. It was sitting on my porch, small, unassuming, with no return address. At first, I didn't think much of it. Online shopping is basically a sport for me, and I've lost count of how many random packages I've ordered and forgotten about. But when I looked closer, I noticed something strange. The name on the label wasn't mine. It was addressed to A. Daniel Rhodes. There wasn't anyone named Daniel in my building, let alone on my street. Maybe it was a mistake, I thought. I'd just drop it off at the post office later. But as I picked it up, I felt something shift inside, a metallic clink like keys or coins rattling together. My curiosity got the better of me. I brought it inside and set it on the kitchen counter. That's when I noticed the writing. Scrawled in shaky black marker across the side of the box were two words, "Do not." I sat there staring at it for what felt like forever. Do not what? Open it. Touch it. Was this someone's idea of a joke? My curiosity won out, like it always does. I grabbed a knife and sliced the tape. Inside, wrapped in crumpled newspaper, was a small black case. It was the kind you'd expect to find in a hardware store, plain, scuffed, and unremarkable. I unlatched it and opened the lid. Inside was a USB drive. That was it. No note, no explanation. Just a plain black USB drive resting in a foam insert, like it was something important. I turned it over in my hands, wondering what could possibly be on it. Photos, documents. Whatever it was, someone had gone through a lot of trouble to make sure it got to. Well, not me. I knew I shouldn't plug it in. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. I sat at my desk staring at the USB drive like it was some kind of ticking bomb. Part of me knew I should just leave it alone. Whatever was on there wasn't meant for me. But the other part of me, the curious, stubborn part, wouldn't let it go. I plugged it into my laptop. At first, nothing happened. The drive didn't auto-open, and no files appeared on my screen. I clicked into it manually, and there it was, a single folder labeled "Watch Me." My stomach twisted as I clicked on it. Inside the folder was a single video file. No title, no description, just a timestamp, 1:1 for 2 to 11:17 p.m. I hesitated for a moment, then clicked play. The video started with shaky, grainy footage of a dimly lit living room. It looked normal enough: beige carpet, a couch, a coffee table with a half-empty mug on it. But something about the angle was unsettling. It was like the camera was hidden, filming from somewhere high up, maybe a shelf or a vent. A man walked into the frame, late 30s, scruffy beard, wearing a wrinkled flannel shirt. He looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept in days. He sat down on the couch, rubbing his hands over his face. For a long moment, nothing happened, and then he looked directly at the camera. "I don't know who you are," he said, his voice low and shaky. "But if you're watching this, I'm already dead." My breath caught in my throat. "I didn't mean for this to happen," he continued. "I thought I could handle it, but now they're after me. They'll be after you, too. The man reached for something off-screen and held it up, a black USB drive, identical to the one I'd found in the package. "They'll want this back, don't let them have it." The screen flickered, the image distorting for a split second. When it came back, the man was gone. The camera still faced the living room, but now it was empty. And then the knocking started. It was faint at first, somewhere off-screen. The camera didn't move, but the sound grew louder, more frantic, until it echoed through the speakers. The video cut to black. I stared at the screen, my hands trembling. What had I just watched? Before I could process it, my phone buzzed. A text. It was from an unknown number. "Where is it?" My stomach dropped when I saw the text. "Where is it?" My hands shook as I typed back, "Who is this?" The response came instantly. "You have something that doesn't belong to you. Return it, and no one gets hurt." My breath caught in my throat. Whoever this was, they knew I had the USB drive. I thought about calling the police, but what would I even say? "Hi, someone sent me a creepy package and now I'm getting threatening texts." That wasn't going to cut it. Instead, I unplugged the USB drive, shoved it back into its case, and started pacing. My mind raced, replaying the man's words from the video. "They'll be after you, too." Who were they, and why did this drive matter so much? The buzzing sound of another text snapped me out of my thoughts. "Don't make this harder than it has to be." I swallowed hard, my chest tightening. Whoever this was, they weren't bluffing. And then I heard it. A knock at the front door. I froze, my pulse hammering in my ears. No one knocks at my door without calling first. Not my friends, not my neighbors, not even delivery drivers. I crept toward the peephole, my heart pounding. A man stood on the porch. Mid-30s, clean-cut, wearing a black jacket. He didn't look particularly threatening, but there was something off about the way he stood, rigid, like he was forcing himself to stay calm. He knocked again, harder this time. "Miss Harris," he called out. His voice was smooth, almost polite. "We know you have the package. Open the door and we'll handle this quickly." I stepped back, my stomach churning. How did he know my name? Another knock, this one louder. "Megan," he said, his voice dropping. "If you don't open the door, we're coming in." I grabbed my phone and dialed 911, but the line wouldn't connect. No dial tone, no static, just silence, and then the back door creaked open. I spun around, my heart leaping into my throat. I'd locked that door, I was sure of it. Footsteps echoed from the kitchen, slow and deliberate. I didn't wait to see who it was. I grabbed the USB drive and bolted for the bedroom, locking the door behind me. My mind raced as I tried to figure out what to do. The only window in the room was too small to climb through, and there was no way I could fight off whoever was in the house. Then I remembered the video. The man had said they wanted the drive. That was all they cared about. I pulled it out of the case, my hands trembling, and stared at it. Was this thing really worth my life? A loud bang on the bedroom door made my decision for me. I stuffed the drive into my pocket, climbed onto the bed, and pushed open the attic access panel in the ceiling. I hoisted myself up just as the door burst open below. From the attic, I could hear them searching the room, their voices low and urgent. "She's not here," one of them said. "She has the drive," another replied. She couldn't have gone far. They were right. I couldn't stay up there forever, but I wasn't about to hand over the drive without answers. That's when I noticed it. The attic wasn't as empty as I thought. In the corner, buried beneath old insulation, was a box. A box identical to the one the USB drive had come in. I crawled toward the box, my breath shaky, ears straining to catch every sound from below. The men were still searching the house, their voices muffled and tense. My fingers brushed the dusty lid, and I pulled it toward me. It was identical to the first box, same size, same scuffed surface, even the same faint smell of must. Inside, wrapped in brittle newspaper, was another USB drive. My heart sank. How many of these were there? What could possibly be so important about them? Before I could think about it, a voice echoed from below. "She's in the attic." I froze, the sound of footsteps rushing toward the bedroom. They knew where I was. I had seconds to decide. Grabbing the new drive, I clambered toward the far end of the attic, where a small ventilation window faced the backyard. I shoved it open, the cool night air hitting my face as I pulled myself through. I dropped onto the grass below, landing hard, but adrenaline pushed me forward. I sprinted toward the tree line at the back of the yard, clutching both drives in my hand. Behind me, I heard the sound of the attic window creaking open. "She's outside," one of them shouted. I didn't stop. I ran into the woods, my legs burning, branches tearing at my skin. The sounds of pursuit grew fainter as I plunged deeper into the darkness. Eventually, I collapsed against a tree, gasping for breath. The drives were still in my hands, their hard edges digging into my palms. Once I was sure I hadn't been followed, I turned on my phone. The screen flickered to life, and to my surprise, I had service again. My first instinct was to call the police, but I stopped myself. What was I going to say? That strange men had broken into my house, chasing me over a USB drive. That I'd found a second one in my attic. Instead, I opened the browser and searched the one name I could think of, Daniel Rhodes. A few results popped up, mostly random social media profiles. But one link caught my eye, a news article from 3 months ago. The headline read, "Tech CEO found dead in apparent murder-suicide." I clicked on it, my stomach twisting. The article described Daniel Rhodes as the founder of a cybersecurity company. He'd been found dead in his home, along with his wife and young daughter. The police believed it was a murder-suicide, but some details didn't add up. One line jumped out at me. Investigators noted that a significant portion of Rhodes's personal files were missing, and his home computer had been wiped clean, the drives. It had to be connected. Whatever was on them, Daniel Rhodes had been killed for it. My phone buzzed. A text. This time it was from the same unknown number that had been messaging me all night. "You can't run forever, Megan." My hands shook as another message came through. "It's not just your life at stake. Return the drives." I stared at the screen, my mind racing. They knew my name, where I lived, and now they knew I had 2 drives. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a video file. I hesitated, then pressed play. The video showed my parents. They were sitting at the dining room table, their faces pale and terrified. A man in a black jacket stood behind them, holding something just out of frame. "If you want them to live," the man said, his voice cold, "you'll bring the drives to the location we send you." The video cut off. My breath caught in my throat. This wasn't just about me anymore. I stared at the 2 drives in my hands, my mind spinning. Whatever secrets Daniel Rhodes had hidden on these drives, they were dangerous enough to kill for. And now I was holding them, I didn't know what to do, but one thing was clear. I couldn't trust anyone. The screen fades to black as Megan's voice delivers the final line. Megan voiceover, "Some secrets are too dangerous to keep and too deadly to let go."